Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont, and it seems Bungie has made another major blunder. We got this from PC Gamer. Bungie confirms it stole art once again. Will undertake a thorough review of Marathon assets. Update: Bungie lays the blame on a former artist. Whoa, what an amazing turn of events. That's actually the exact same thing they did before. They blamed other artists or outsourced contacts or contractors or something like that before. For those of you that haven't been keeping up, this will be the third confirmation from Bungie that they've stolen fan art, and there are two other people also claiming that their art was stolen, and they have provided pretty decent receipts from what I've seen on X. I haven't read this story yet, but it's pretty much everywhere right now. They did a live stream for Marathon, and it was more like a live execution. It was pretty bad. But here we go. Bungie is, once again, being accused of using the designs of an independent artist without permission, pay, or attribution. In a post on X earlier today, visual artist Antireal, that's not, oh yeah, here it is. For this, so it's Antireal, but his name is in classic leet, alphanumeric leet, for those of you that want to get specific. Antireal said that Marathon's environment art used design elements pulled directly from her 2017 poster designs. Bungie is, of course, not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined for the last decade, Antireal said in follow up tweets, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for idea and plaster all over their game without pay or attribution. The Marathon Alpha release recently and its environments are covered in assets lifted from posters designs I made in 2017. What am I even looking at here? I scrolled past this one because it was kind of confusing to me, and I was looking for the direct contacts. Let me see if I can figure this out. So Aleph. Okay, yeah, that's so this is the poster, I think. Yeah, Anti-Real Daily Series. Uh Dark Space Heritage or Haulage Logistics. So what that says up there? Dark Space Hall, I left Dark Space. I left Dark. Okay, so yeah, they straight up took actual language from the poster, and the fact that it's exact is where they're going to get in trouble because they could make their own acronym for what Aleph was and probably throw it in the game and be like, "Oh no, we came up with it independently." But when you have the same exact like line above the dark space haulage logistics on, I assume these are weapons in the game, or this is like a vehicle. It looks like somebody's about to get in. But Jesus, is this the rendering? What is this thing? Whatever. That's a yeah, that's an issue. That's an issue. What's this other one? Let's see what this is. The arrows? Okay, so do they have the same background highlight? Okay, no. So there's not the same background highlighting on the arrows here, and they're inverted. See how these arrows have background boxes? So these arrows are generic enough, or they're going to be able to claim that no, they're not the same. You can see they're clearly different. They don't have a background box. They're not oriented in the same position. That's the kind of thing that's going to be harder to claim on. What's this one? Anti-Real Daily Series with some numbers in a square. And there's the square and the number 28. That does look like they just inverted it. So if they inverted the whole, let's see, the poster's choppy enough. I guess, is this a separate poster? Let me see. And yeah, that's a poster. And oh, so these are two separate posters overlaid on top of each other. So now with that, with the box and the 28, and this next to each other, it does show that they were taking these images and just inverting them or rotating them. Oh, this is straight up inversion, like mirror inversion. Like, that's just lazy, guys. That's like lazy theft. And the numbers the same? If the numbers are the same, they're gonna be in some hot water. They are. So they did actually take this straight up whole poster, flip it, um, end over end 180 degrees, and start plastering it on stuff. Yeah, that's theft, guys. That is theft outright. And this same thing. Okay, so now with these images here and this image here and this next to it, the fact that the background boxes are missing might be the only thing that gets them off on that one. They could just be like, "Oh, no, generic triangles, man. Generic triangles that fit into each other, that's a thing. These are not like unique designs." The boxes behind them and the I guess intricate pattern on the side. Well, not intricate, but the pattern on the side is what makes them unique. And the fact that those are actually missing in this is going to be harder to prove that this part was actually part of it. But these being exact with the poster and the images and just flipped over, yeah, I think she's got you guys. And if you've already admitted it, you just Bungie's really, really fallen from whatever pedestal they used to be on because they are not the same company that made Halo. That's for damn sure. Let's back to the article. As evidence, Antireal uploaded screenshots from in-game footage of the recent Marathon Alpha playtest, comparing designs and logos seen throughout in-game environments with poster designs work that she'd posted on Twitter in 2017. Compared with the original designs, which are still visible on X, there are fairly blatant similarities. Now, there are exact similarities for some of them. Yeah, I'd say 2 out of 3 are exact. The one thing with the triangle arrow things, whatever carrots, whatever you want to call them, that has some wiggle room for argument. Even though it might be clear that they use those designs, they did change those enough to be like, eh. The other ones are just inverted. So they're caught. One of them is exact, no inversion, no attempt to even hide it, just copy, paste. Um, a design element from one of Antireal's posters of the words Aleph in all caps compared to the text dark spaced or paired. I'm sorry. Paired with the taste dark space haulage logistics seems to appear unaltered on a series of marathon structures. A sequence of logos and boxes seen on in-game tarps and sheeting appeared to be pulled directly from another poster. Taking a look at gameplay of Marathon Alpha available on YouTube, PC Gamer confirmed that the double arrow logo from the third anti-rail design was visible in the game. Yes, but again, that is just different enough. They could say that they lifted that from F-Zero. F-Zero has arrows like this on certain tracks. I think almost on every track, where when you drive over them, they give you a speed boost. They've changed throughout time. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, if you've done the racing, the swoop racing, they have arrows like this on the ground. It's one of those things that arrows, them being in a completely different orientation, them not having the boxes behind them, and if they don't have the design on the edge of the arrow, that one's going to be harder to prove. Now, it does line up with all the other stuff, but again, arrows are generic enough to be where you probably might not be able to trademark them unless you make them unique, where Anti-Real did on the poster, but Marathon didn't in the game. So that one again, that's going to be harder. Anti-Real said that she hasn't been able to pursue legal action against Bungie due to lack of resources. Yeah, I assume that if you're a fan artist, you probably don't have the wherewithal to sue a major company. In 10 years, I have never made a consistent income from this work, and I am tired of designers from huge companies moonboarding and parasiting my designs while I struggle to make a living, Anti-Real said. This isn't the first time Bungie has been accused of using the work of independent artists without permission. Just last year, Bungie admitted fan art was used while designing a Destiny 2 Nerf gun. Yep, that was sample one, and promised to compensate and credit the artist. In 2023, Bungie said it would do the same for another artist after an in game Destiny cutscene featured near identical similarities to their artwork. And in 2021, Bungie confirmed that fan art of Zivu Aroth was accidentally used in a trailer for the Witch Queen expansion. I didn't know about that one. I don't follow Destiny news that much. I remember the Nerf gun one because it was huge. Because there were, I think, like 8 different designs. Well, the Nerf gun had roughly 20 graphics, and 8 of them were nearly identical, if not identical, to a fan art of the same style weapon, which was, enough to go, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing here? They even, I remember the Nerf gun, one of the things they pasted onto it from the fan art didn't line up with the independent design because it was offset. And it was one of those things that it got him caught. I didn't know about this fan art of Zivu Arath. Oh, yeah. If there's no picture, I can't really do much about it. Words are words, guys. But yeah, that's crazy. So they've now admitted 4 times, which means there's a potential for a minimum of 5, possibly 6 times that Bungie has stolen fan art to do things with. There's something going on at that company. Like, so they need to gut this. Sony is probably regretting ever buying Bungie at this point because apparently their company is just filled with plagiarists. In the replies to Antireal's accusation, another ex user noted that she's followed by Marathon franchise art director Joseph Cross on the platform. Antireal said that Cross and other Bungie artists have followed her for a few years, but said she never communicated with them. Bungie has issued a statement via the Marathon dev team account on X. We immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of artist decals in Marathon and confirmed that a former Bungie artist included these in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in game, the statement reads. And that's Bungie's excuse every time. It wasn't us, it was someone we hired. Well, when you hire somebody, they represent your company, which means you're responsible as a company for what happens, right? If somebody, well, let's say like McDonald's hires somebody to do something and they start causing major issues while wearing that company uniform, the company's going to say, "Oh, it's not us, it's just that one guy," but it's still your employee. It's still a representative of your company. That means that you do bear some responsibility. You need to have system of checks and balances. And if you don't, then shit will fall apart. Or you'll just get in big legal hot water like you are right now, probably. I mean, if Anti-Real made a like whatever it is, Give Send Go, GoFundMe, one of those like donation sites saying, I want to sue Bungie over this, she'd probably get enough money to sue you guys. Uh, the issue was unknown by our existing art team, and we are still reviewing how the oversight occurred because you're fucking lazy or you don't care. Those are the only two things. You're either too lazy to do the actual work that you're supposed to do when it comes to looking into things and graphics, and especially with graphical design, and especially in this age, or you knew and you didn't care. There's really no in between. Too lazy, didn't care. Pick a lane because that's where you're at right now, Bungie. Um, we take matters like this very seriously. I don't believe that you do, especially if this is the 4th time you've admitted doing it. Right? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 or 4 times, you're just a bad person or a bad company. You're unscrupulous and perfidious. Deal with it. We have reached out to Antireal to discuss the issue and are committed to do right by the artist. According to Bungie's statement, the company seeks permission from the artist to use their work as a matter of policy, and the issue can be tracked back to one former Bungie artist. Oh, they're former too. How convenient. And they can't name them for legal reasons, so maybe this artist doesn't even exist at all. Could just be a made up artist, a fake scapegoat. John Fake Namington. That was the guy. It's ridiculous. To prevent similar issues in the future, we are conducting a thorough review of our in-game assets, specifically those done by former Bungie artists, and implementing stricter checks to document all artist contributions. Gee, this should have been something you did after the first instance of this, let alone the second, third, and fourth. We value the creativity and dedication of all artists who contribute to our games, and we are committed to doing right by them. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. One incident would be unfortunate, but almost yearly accusations of unattributed art used seems to indicate a systemic dysfunction in Bungie's art department. Even though Bungie now has recorded or has a record of admitting fault and retroactively crediting and compensating artists, it's harder to brush these incidents off as honest mistakes when it's the fourth time its artists have allegedly plucked designs from other people's games. Yeah, exactly. Spot on. That's what I was just saying. It's the fourth fucking time. The fourth time. You only get 3 strikes in baseball. You get 4 balls. So either way, you're off the plate, Bungie. Like that's just how it is. It's insane that you think you can get away with this. And they are getting away with it because they have too much money. I don't know. We'll see what happens when this game comes out. This being the fourth accusation, this game might be dead in the water. It might be the next Concord because when people start to lose faith in a company, they stop going. When you start showing that your company is, perfidious or unscrupulous, willing to steal, willing to try to get away with things that aren't conductive to good business practices, people walk away. And after so many people walk away, you end up with a crowd of people that can't sustain your company. And Bungie might be heading that direction. They might be the next big company to fall. I'm gonna probably do a video later about Ubisoft's earning reports because it looks like Ubisoft might be one of the next companies to fall as well. But that's a whole nother story. That's all I have on this one. This is your host Belmont, signing out.